video!
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about brand deals and proposal templates, and it's going to get all businessy up in here. But you need to know about this kind of stuff because having a proposal template ready is going to make you look more professional. It's going to make you easier to work with. So let's talk about what a proposal should look like, what it is, and what should be included inside of your proposal template, okay? The first thing I want to talk about is called a statement of work, which is basically an overview of what you're going to do for them. This should be extremely value-based, right? Not really specific like, I'm going to make a great video, but more like, we're going to engage a massive audience with content that will drive them to a sales page or something, something like that. Now, in the business world, a statement of work is called an SOW, and I recommend actually calling it an SOW when you're talking to them. Be like, oh yeah, I'll send you over a proposal with an SOW. Makes you sound more businessy, and I think that that's a really good place for you to be. The next thing that your proposal should include is a project timeline. Companies love timelines. Now, remember, when you're giving them a timeline and you're like, it's going to take 3 months to do this, or it's going to be 2 videos a month for 6 months, that's not necessarily like you're going to get sued if it takes longer, right? Like, this is a projected timeline, and that's exactly what it should be. You don't have much control over the brand, like if the brand managers change and all this stuff happens. So don't worry about like, oh, I'm nervous, I'm gonna have to commit to this. Like, just show them, hey, look, if everything goes great, we should be able to finish this account in the next 90 days, and that's a pretty good thing. So make sure that you have a project timeline. The next thing that you need to have in your proposal is a payment schedule. And this is basically a timeline of payments, okay, and what the payments are for. In every brand deal that you do, you should have sort of an upfront today payment. Then after that, you'll divide the rest of the total into however many months that you think the project is going to take. Okay, so the next thing that you need to have in your proposal template is a terms and conditions page. Now, your terms and conditions page is kind of like your legalese, and if you've got, some money, I wouldn't mind if you consulted a lawyer on this and made a really good payment terms page that protects you and makes sure that you get all the things that you want of this. With your terms and conditions, you really want to do this once and put it in every proposal, and it is what it is. Now, there's been quite a few times where the brand has said, hey, we want to move forward with you, but I don't like these terms and I don't like that term. And so we will line item some things. That means we'll X out some things and we'll forego them. It's never been a problem. It's never been a problem for me. In fact, every brand deal I've ever done has been a good experience, right? And that's because we protect ourselves with this kind of documentation. And then finally, your proposal template should have signature fields so that they can sign. Guys, how many times have I seen it where you send this amazing proposal and it's all good to go? There's nowhere for them to sign. So make sure that you put a signature field on the last page where they can zip it over and sign it. Now, here's a couple things. I want to show you a contract template, okay? But I want you to know a couple things first. When you send the contract to them, or the proposal template, they might come back at you with what's called a proposal addendum or a contract addendum. And it has the word add in it, right? So it's like, we're going to add this to the contract. You need to read through that document because you want to make sure that they're not like adding 17 new videos in there, right? It's an addendum. So what does that mean when they send you an addendum, right? You send them a contract or proposal, they come back with like a whole new contract. Read through it. It's not a deal breaker, okay? And don't get frustrated. There's an element of realizing you're kind of dealing with a big brand, and that's okay. Go through that learning process. You know what I mean? For the most part, that addendum is probably just going to be legalese about copyright and stuff. But don't flip out like, oh, I just want to do a good, simple deal, and they want to do all this legal stuff. They're a brand. They got a lot more to lose than we do. Like, we're pretty flexible, So just keep that in mind. If you get an addendum, it's business as usual. Okay, let's go and take a look at one of my older contracts and see what this actually looks like. So you're looking at a proposal template that I've actually used with an actual client. So notice that I first talked about a statement of work, right? Like an SOW, which is this part right here. But I've also got this goals paragraph right here. Largely, that is to fill up the page and make it look good. The next step that I want to talk about is the project fulfillment timeline, right? And this is where you're showing them, approximately, how long this is going to take. Like, what is the timeline to get from, starting the contract to delivering the first media to wrapping it up and being done. And I promise you this, every brand wants to be done. They want to get it done. They want to wrap it up and move on to the next project. So you got to be really good at execution here. And I've said this to a lot of new YouTubers, right? Like, and new creators. If you're new at this, at video creation, then get good at video creation before you go get brand deals. You don't need to be big, okay? You don't need to be big to get brand deals, but if you can't deliver a video on time, you are going to put there's going to be a bad name out there for you. Okay, the last page that I'm going to show you today is the investment page. Notice I called this page Investment and Team, and the reason that I do that is so that they can see that when they're investing not just into me, but into the people that are on my team and their time as well. So let's take a look at the campaign investment here. On this line, you can see that I'm giving them 10 YouTube videos at $5,000 plus a webinar at $700 for a total of $5,700, right? And then what do they need to pay in full to begin it? Well, they'll just pay the contract in full. And you can do this. Again, I have a whole other video about like how to do payment terms for a brand, but typically if it's under 10 grand, I just ask for it all up front because it's easier for everybody rather than having to work out some kind of payment plan. I see a lot of creators treating brands like family and being like, well, why don't you just trickle it out to me? Don't do that. You know what I mean? They've got money and they know how to pay. So have them do that. So that's your proposal template, right? You can download that and put it on your computer. And then I would immediately replace some of the terminology with your own. And so you can make it your own so that the next time when a brand says, hey, send me a proposal, you can already have something pre-made and pre-written out for them. You can go to the link that's in the description box right now to get the free version of this proposal template. And when you do, you'll see all the different trainings and tools and tips that we have for you that you can purchase for learning how to do brand deals and becoming a more professional, more profitable YouTube channel. That's all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you want to learn more about brand deals, maybe geek out a little bit on the different ways that you can get more brand deals, then click on the video that's on your screen now. I'm Owen, and I'll see you there.